Hello, welcome to Sunny's Yoga. Let's get started with a full body vinyasa your body will love you for. Mountain pose. Hands above your head, drop your shoulders gently. Breathe in and breathe out. Arms come beside you. Back up into mountain. Breathe. Lift your toes and put them down gently. One more time, extending out, lift your toes, and then we're going to tilt the upper body towards the left. My arm is by my ear. Yes, breathing in and out. Go to the middle, take an exhale. Tilt your body to the right. Toes are still going up and down, waking them up, giving them life. Breathe. Come back to center. Then we're going to open our arms wide, extending towards each side of the room, just beyond your shoulders, bringing your shoulder blades together. I'm going to turn to the side, interlace my hands so that I can protect my neck as we look up towards the sky, extending and bowing our head. This protects our neck. This is opening through your upper chest. Look up, breathe. Your hands have no weight on your neck. None, even when you go forward. And as you go forward, bring your elbows in towards you. And as you go up, your elbows extend out. This is only about your upper body. Tailbone is dropped towards the floor, slight bend in the knees. Turning towards the front so you can see. We're going to do some neck exercises here. Slow, intentional movement so that all of the stress you feel in your neck, every little nook and cranny of your neck is getting extension. It is getting attention, much needed attention. Hands are just lightly on my thighs. My legs are hip distance apart. Breathe. This feels amazing. I'm going to go ahead and add my hand gently to the top of my head and extend my left arm out. It's not pressure. Shouldn't feel any pressure. This is really good for the side of your neck. You feel it down your arm. Bring my head gently back to center and do the same thing on the other side. Bring up my left hand and extend out my right. Breathe. Don't cave in and don't bend back. This is strictly about your neck and being kind to your neck. Gently bring your head back to center. My legs, I'm going towards the back of my mats, legs mat distance apart, and I'm gonna slowly bend down to the floor. Similar to ragdoll. Just hang heavy, release your upper back. My hips and the top portion of my body is going towards the front of the room, not bending towards the back. I've cupped my hands with along my elbows for ragdoll and will slowly wind back up. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly coming down again. Yes. Ragdoll. Cup your elbows. You can sway side to side. I am paying a lot of attention to my toes. I'm lifting and putting them down gently. Hands are in between my feet, and I'm rolling myself back up. Breathe. Legs come together, coming into mountain. Extend out of your hips and come down. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Hands are against the shins. Looking past my drishti and folding again. Walk out to plank. Drop your hips down. Don't cheat. And we're just going to wake up our feet and our ankles slowly, rock back and forth, back and forth. Breathe. Come down to chaturanga, take a breath, flip up into upward facing dog. Breathe. Come back on your toes, go into downward facing dog. Upper body goes towards your lower body. Hands are facing the front, fully extended out. Go back down into plank. Bring your foot towards the front, hands on either side. Come up, interlace your hands on top of your thigh. Stay away from your knee. Drop your hips, but make sure they're level, even. Foot is flat in the back, and we're breathing, looking past our drishti. Lift up your leg, your back leg, and bring your arm up into twisted butterfly. Breathe. Arm goes straight up, stacking your shoulders. Hand frames the foot. Foot comes down, and we're going to bring open, just slightly open our hip with our hand. Not a lot of pressure at all. Looking towards the back. Bring your foot up again. Feet meet, down into plank, and go back and forth again. Nice and easy. Bring your right foot to the front, from your foot, hands together, opposite thumb on top of your thigh, not your knee, and breathe. Drop your hips. It's a great stress reliever. This is a great way to open up your hips. Your feet are actually active when you're in this type of asana, whether they're flat or not, moving into dragonfly, lifting up the back foot, staying on the toes, and extending my arms straight to the sky, twisting. Drop your knee. And now we're going to open our hip a little bit more. Your back foot being flat, you're actually making sure that it helps with stability as you're in this asana. Lift up your toe. Feet come together, back into downward facing dog. Breathe. Gonna walk my hands back towards the back of the mat. Hands are around my ankles for a deeper forward fold. Slowly roll myself up. Wide-legged forward fold. Wide-legged forward stance, going through the full warrior one, facing the mat. Your back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Your front foot is straight towards the front. Drop your hands down, extend to each side of the room. Breathe. Your lower half stays stable. And now we move slowly into warrior three. Breathe. A slight bend in the front knee is definitely a positive thing to protect your knees and your knee joint. Hands come together. Gently come down. Open back up to warrior two. Come up into warrior one. Reverse warrior. Yes, look up towards your hand. Again, your lower half stays anchored as you work on your upper half. Come back facing the front. Three-pointed star, looking up at your hands. Series on the other side. Start with warrior one. Anchor your legs down. Back foot, 45-degree angle. Front foot, 90-degree angle. Hips facing towards the front. Open up, extending to warrior two. Breathe in and breathe out. Going very slowly into warrior three. That slight bend in your knee, definitely a must. Keep breathing. Looking past your dressy will
Sophisticated,
help you with
the most
balance.
soft power in the world, expert, you
Down
name it.
into warrior
We're at the
2.
top of the list, um, and that's so critically
Breathe
important. So we can afford
up into warrior
let's say
1, looking up
this,
towards my
we can
hands, then the
afford
front of the
a
room.
president from ideologically from right to
Reverse
left,
warrior.
conservative
Look
right
up
to
at your
right, yes,
hands.
to Bernie
Your other hand is
Sanders,
just lightly
politically
on
choosing
your
this
leg,
long
lightly
disrespect for the Constitution,
towards the
this
front,
long
hands on
disrespect for the
hips.
rule of
I'm going to
law, this
bring
long
in my feet just a
disrespect
little
for checks
bit.
and balances.
Breathe and
Listen,
go down into forward fold. I'm
survival
extending
policy
through
can
my
survive
hips towards the
that
front.
hard.
My bum is
It
not
must
going
have
towards the back of
undermined
the room. A
terminate
little weight on the ball mounds of your
scorch the
feet.
Constitution and
Turn to the
execute
side so you
decisions
can see a little bit more
insufficiently.
easily.
I
My
mean,
hands
I just
are
think
meeting where
the
my
role
feet
of the first
are.
lady in this
Breathe.
election is going to be vital because what she
Weight
did
is definitely in the
last
ball
week
mounds of my feet so
is
I can
she kind of
extend
takes
and give
this
my lower
election
back
out of
some
the
love.
California play of left
Come up,
versus right,
hands on
Democrat
hips,
versus Republican,
feet
and
come
puts
together.
puts the Trump option
We're
in
intentionally
different
going to take a
categories than the
moment
Constitution does.
to give our
I'm going
toes
to
some
defend
love.
decency
So,
versus
first, you're going to
convenience.
be on top of your
It's the
toes,
neoliberalism
and then you're going to
versus
go and
moral
be on the
policies
tippy
of
top, the
people
tippy
like
backs
Stacey
of your
can do that.
toes.
You can see the crowd she got
So,
in
we're working the
Iowa.
front
That
part of
is
our toes and the back
astounding.
part of our
She'll
toes.
be continuing to do that. And there are
This is
places
so
where you do that.
wonderful
There are a
because you
lot
feel
of
it in the
people
back of your leg
who
and
want
in the
Senate
front of
and
your
Texas
leg
good for the
while you're giving
Republicans
your toes some
and
extra
good
love.
for
No
Democrats for
pressure, a slight
2016.
bend in the front
And
knee
there are
to help
others
with
who can do
balance,
that. I mean,
hands stay on
I'd
hips.
be really interested to see if
Being on your
someone like
toes, you can feel that all the way up the front of your
Walmart,
leg. It
someone
feels
like I
lovely.
mean, there is no shortage of
Bring
people
your toes
who have
back
seen
together,
Republicans, who have seen firsthand,
dropping down
what
into
this
chair
does look like
pose,
or what this has looked like
airplane
because
pose
of the
with my
Republican Party.
arms up
And
on the
yet it takes this
toes,
election, I think, to put it in a different
slowly.
context,
If you
which
can't be on your toes,
is
stay down.
really quite stark and quite
Looking
scary
past
to
my
understand.
dressy,
But
your
I
feet
don't
do
think
not have to
people
come up. I'm gonna roll myself
will
back
just
up.
accept.
Breathe.
And interesting that a week ago today, Mike Pence,
Hands
former
come
vice president,
down,
announced
come
another
into
massive
prayer,
Florida stump
back
truck
into
in this election
airplane.
cycle. The Atlantic
Slowly coming
truck
up on
makes
my
election as
toes.
always. Next up, going
This is a
electric.
balancing
Talk
asana
about the
that takes
EPA's
practice
push to
and
regulate emissions
focus.
with the president of
Keep
Volkswagen joining the
breathing, lift your arms a
conversation.
little bit higher, and come back up. Roll your shoulders out.
Sometimes life is a funny way of turning sideways, like when your kid decides they're a professional stylist the morning of picture day.
Going
But
into
let's be honest,
triangle.
who isn't
Make
right
sure
now?
it's your hip that goes
When you're
out
angry or when you're
as you
stressed,
extend one hand going
try
towards your right
focusing
foot and the
inward.
other one up towards the sky. Stacking your shoulders on top of each other. Breathe.
Yeah, life
Coming back
definitely
up
goes way
using
too
your
fast.
mid
But that's
your
why we're here.
core and do the same
Talking
thing
about
on the
it.
other side. Breathe. It's really important that it is your hip that is going out,
Folks, this
not
was
your full lower back,
actually
your hip.
$500 in
Come back
tips.
up,
Don't worry,
arms
we
extended
got
still,
this.
dropping my hips down into
And
goddess
you'll
squat.
be surprised.
Feet are at a 45-degree angle, slowly rocking back and forth to open my hips. Hands come down to meet the mat. One arm goes up, and I'm going to go into a bind. My arm is around my lower back, and I am holding on to my upper thigh, looking towards the sky. Unbind and do the same thing on the other side. Now, if you cannot bind, have your hands go straight into the air and look up. Your lower half stays anchored, that does not move. Arm comes back around, straighten the legs, and do a deep forward fold. Hands meet the feet, going towards the front of the mat and coming down into seated. Rolling slowly onto my back so that I can do a figure four, which is similar to doing a wide hip extension. It's similar to doing hip extensions that help stretch out your hip flexors. Toes come down And we do the same thing on the other side. The further you bring your thigh towards your body, the deeper the stretch, the deeper the asana. Make sure your toes stay flexed. We want to include our feet, our ankles. It's a full body experience. Bringing my knees towards my upper body, giving them a nice squeeze. This is good for digestion. Good if you have gas and bloating. Those movements are great. I'm going to do a rock and a roll. My feet do not touch the mat at all. I'm rocking and rolling. Feet don't touch the mat and automatically into boat pose. Breathe. This is a balancing asana that requires just looking past your drishti. I'm going to roll back, but not let my shoulders touch the ground. I want to reach for my ankles. This feels lovely as an opener for your shoulders and back. Dropping my legs down on either side, hands inside, going into happy baby. Knees going towards your body. You can rock back and forth. Your hands are going inside of your feet, in between, and holding the outside. Now I'm going to bring my legs down, point and flex my feet. Going towards the back of the mat, I'm going to walk back. And we're going to do thread the needle. Arm comes up and down. Other arm goes towards the corner of the mat, and you're going to pick up your foot. There's no weight on your hand. There's no weight on that foot. Everything is about opening up your upper shoulders and making sure you stay balanced on your back foot, the foot that is flat to the mat. De-thread the needle, come back up, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Arm comes up, we thread the needle, opposite foot comes out, and opposite hand goes towards the corner of the mat. Breathe. Make sure you're cautious of your neck when you're in these asanas. You don't want to hurt your neck. Gonna come up and de-thread the needle. Arms come down. Moving towards the back of the mat. Sitting up into kneeling. Roll my shoulders. And then I'm gonna slowly come down into puppy pose. Hands go to each corner of the mat. Knees 90-degree angle. Feet are flush. And I'm actually gonna come up on my fingertips to give myself a deeper extension through my arms. My chin or my forehead is kissing the mat. Slowly bring yourself up back into kneeling. Breathe. Roll your shoulders. Roll them out. Coming back down to the mat. I'm going to bring one leg at 90 degrees. Both legs are at 90 degrees, one towards the back and one towards the front. You want to try to make sure your bum is flush to the mat. And then on that opposite side, lean your body over. This is a great hip opener for the inner thigh, the inner hip, the one that we always fuss about, our jiggly. It is a great extension. We carry a lot of stress in our hips, a lot of emotion in our hips. We're going to come up, breathe, then we're going to switch sides. What you do to one side, you must do to the other for balance. Now, if your hips keep coming up on the side where the leg is bent, please put a block or a book underneath that hip. You want to make sure your hips have balance. Head is down, kissing the mat, hands are down, and breathe. Come up, look past your drishti.
A convertible bug. Bus? No, no, I had VW for bus. I know, that's embarrassing. You drove a bus? Nothing embarrassing. You drove a VW bus.
I'm going to bring my feet
But
around,
it's awesome.
and I'm going to windshield wiper back and forth just to give my lower back a little bit of ease since I did that forward fold like that. coming into butterfly. Hands come together and grab you, they come underneath your feet. Sit straight up. Let gravity do the work with your knees. If you need to, put a stack of books or a block on underneath either knee, but breathe in and out. I'm going to extend more into diamond shape. Then I'm going to lean forward. My elbows are down on the mat. My head is going towards my feet. And I'm actually going to extend my hands out for a deeper asana. Yes, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
Really? So that's the problem. The
You'll want to
people
hold
on
your breath.
Mars
Don't
don't
hold
have
your
a
breath.
bed. We all
Slowly
have.
roll
Is the
yourself
bus
up.
gone forever?
This is Gamukasana, but I'm not going to have my feet or my legs on the ground. This is also
I need
balancing.
my ear in. Pablo, I'm
Foot
gonna
crosses
hold
over
you
the
to
other,
this.
and the knees
And when I hold you
meet
to this, I
together
promise
on
you're gonna
top.
need one of those. Getting any D. I just
Breathe
think
in,
you and
breathe out.
us.
I'm holding on to
Oh
my
no, so
feet, looking past my
so let's
dristies so I
talk
can stay
about
balanced.
there's a huge debate
Feet
going on
come
in the United
down
States right now.
together at the mat, and now we do the other
Vehicles, are
side.
we pushing too fast? We
I
are
would like my
wasting money. Is
legs
that
going
ridiculous?
towards my upper body and my
We're
upper
trying to
body going
move
towards
ahead.
my
There's always a
legs.
question of, are we moving ahead as
Breathe.
a country faster on an idea? The consumers are waiting
Unwind. Feet come
buy a car.
down.
What are your thoughts? Yeah, so let me tell you
Crisscross
that
your
we did
legs.
two pieces of
I'm going to
legislation
come to the
going on at
front
the
so you
same
can
time that are
see.
critical.
And I'm going to go
These
into
are for
full
legislation for everybody,
locust. Your
taking
feet are
state,
crossed, going
some of the
crisscross, going
legislation
up,
which is going to bring
and
all the
breathe. Hands
jobs
come to your
and the
knees.
research and development into the U.S. in the next
Kind
couple
of
of years.
rolling my neck a
The
little.
EPA ruling
Feels
in
good at
just
that
last week.
moment.
So I
But
think
what I really want to
the
do is
EPA ruling is
extend
almost
my
aggressive
hands and my
piece of legislation
fingers
for the
and give
environment
them a
and
nice
the city
wake up.
instead
Give
of being
them some love. Give them
CO2
some
only
care.
atmosphere.
Yes.
And the
You definitely want
transition
to
will be
twist
available for the US
slightly
consumers
back and
in electric
forth.
vehicles
Now I'm
in
going to switch the
2026.
position
And
of
here,
my
here's the thing.
locust.
Uh, the future is electric for Volkswagen. There's no doubt about it.
I was a little tight,
And
so
we
that's my
will put
tight side.
together all the
This time I'm going to put my
vehicles
hands
and
in
the
a fist.
government
I'm
to make
focusing solely
infrastructure
on my
more renewable
wrist,
energy as
going
time goes
back
by.
I want to ask you
and
about
forth,
that side of it, Pablo, which is
back
the infrastructure
and
side.
forth.
So I think one of the
You're sitting
frustrations that people are
upright,
getting why
you're not
cars are running are
slouching.
so not
You want to
knowing
make
where the
sure
next
you
charging
posture
station
is
will be.
straight up
So next
because
to
we
your
don't
analysis
want
is
to
you
hurt our
guys are already on
backs.
your
Bring your
side of it
hands up
making the
and
electric
over
vehicles
and
relative
face
to
the
going
front,
the
then
infrastructure has
bring
to catch
them
up to the
together over
next
the
item.
top of your
So
head. Breathe as you look up, still in locust.
Park in Chattanooga, Tennessee,
Breathe
since last
in
year.
and breathe out.
We're the
Hands
only
come
fleet
down.
automaker that gets a $7,500 credit.
I'm going to undo
Which means
locust,
we will
come into
localize
a
the US
seated
and we have all of our
position,
supply chain
and
in the
start to
US.
twist
So
through my
now when the consumer
hips.
goes into our
Now,
vehicle, they
the
know
bottom part is
they don't get
fully
confused, but
anchored down.
with this
You
one,
can go as
the
far
charging will
front
be
as you
all
can, but you want to
infrastructure
make
together
sure
for
your
renewable energy.
bottom stays
So this
flush
is
to the mat.
a team effort. Volkswagen needs to do
Go
their part.
one
Electrify
way
America.
and then
And
turn
as
and go the
Americans, we
other
will do the work.
way.
And then some, the
Fully
municipalities
about your
and the government
hips,
agencies. So,
fully
but
moving
all
in
had
slow
first
circles,
advice
up,
for
back,
emission
and
reduction.
how
around.
has that led to
Hands
moving
come
electric? Because we hear from a lot
behind
of
me, coming back
businesses it's the
into
future
a
here.
comfortable seated
But what will
position.
also be
Arm
flowing
comes
through the
up, and I'm
industry
going to
is
bend
I think the
towards the
IRA
left.
is a great piece of legislation.
I'm going to keep looking
For
forward instead of
manufacturing
looking at
jobs,
my hand,
the innovation, and there's
making
also
sure
a
that
big
I'm
push
fully extending
advocating for
out, come
renewable
up,
energy and
and
infrastructure.
windmill to
So
the
there's
other
many
side.
companies that are outside the automotive
Hips
world
are
investing in
flush to the
certain
mat. Bottom
destination
is flush
and
to the mat.
not
Feet are
getting
flush to the
ready in the
mat.
next
Come
five
back
or six
up.
years. We're going to see a huge transformation in the number of
Hands come together
infrastructure in
overhead.
the US in
Bring
the
your
months
hands
before that.
down
And
into
then we need
prayer.
to go into the cities, for example, in New York. How are we going to put chargers in
Breathe
some
in
of
and
these
breathe out.
high-rise buildings?
Thank you
When
for
they
joining
package it,
Sunny's Yoga.
people will be more
Can't wait
willing
to see you
to
next time.
answer